Hey ladies, it's Christina again, your Jamberry consultant, and I would like to go over my application process that I use for Jamberries. I know that I have posted another post from actually our home office on how to do Jamberries and the application process, but people have asked me for mine. So I'm going to go over it a little bit with you. First, you need to clean your nails. And what that entails is do your little manicure to yourself, push back your cuticles, cut them off if you can, and thoroughly wash your hands with either Dawn or Palmolive, any soap that's going to get the grease and oils out of your hands, because that way the Jamberries stick better. Then you take your sheet and you figure out which Jamberry fits which finger. And this sheet is kind of funny because I've already cut the ones that match my fingers that I'm putting on. And I cut them, and then I have them sticking out where I can grab the top of them with tweezers, so my oils on my fingers are not touching the Jamberry. So then I like to file my nail and get it really rough so the application sticks better. You can do this with nail polish. That's a lot of the reason why that when you're in the nail salon, they take the file and they file your nail down a little bit, and they also buff it. It's a smoother application, and it helps stick. So I'm going to show you that. I'll be moving around the camera a little bit, so forgive me. So I'm going to move the camera down, and I'm going to show you how I do the buffing part of this. So here is my workstation. So I'm going to take a file. We have a smaller Jamberry one, but this is one you can easily get anywhere. And so I just buff across here like this and try to get that smoothed out. Now I do kind of smooth out the tips of my nails, but we will solve that issue when we actually apply our Jamberry. So you just keep filing each nail down a little bit. And I am just going to do this one hand to show you my techniques because it can be a little lengthy. So after I'm done doing that, you'll see my nails. Let's go this way. They're kind of filed down. And my nails are short, if you notice. My nails are still healing from acrylics. So when you take the acrylics off, it makes them very thin, and it's really not healthy for your nail. So I did that. Then I take my Jamberry buffer, and I buff over top to smooth that out. Just do a quick buff. Okay, now that we have that done, we want to make sure that our nails are free of any type of oils. Jamberry provides a prep wipe. You can use that. It does come in the application kit, 2 of them. But also for any at-home use, alcohol wipes are great. So is fingernail polish remover with acetone. That works really, really well too. So what I do is I use the alcohol wipe, and I wipe down my nails with them and kind of get on top of the cuticles too, because that's where you hold a lot of your oils. So just wipe them down really, really, really well. And I'm getting little stray hairs, but little fibers. you can easily wipe those away. So as we're doing this, this is the part where I like to turn on my heater. This is our Jamberry heater. It has a stand, as you see, plugs in. The air comes out of here. It does get hot, so be very careful. So I'm going to turn this on. Make sure that it's on. There you go. You kind of have to push the button in really, really hard. So I'm waiting for that alcohol to dry. As I am, I'm going to move the computer even further down to my actually workstation, so you might not see me. You're just going to hear me. And explain my process of Jamberry application. Okay. So, as I've said before, I have cut these. I know my size. I know which Jamberry size goes on what finger. And I've cut them down. And what I did was basically take my scissors, kind of push it up, and cut it. And then put it in a position where I can easily get to it. So, now that we've done that, I take tweezers so I don't touch it. And this one is going to go on my pinky. So I'll move the heater into the camera's view a little bit. I'll hold it up where you guys can see it. And I heat up the Jamberry. And it only takes a couple seconds. If you can see, it starts to curl. That's when you know you're getting it really hot. I like to do it extra because then it becomes even more sticky. There's a little piece of fuzz. So then, let's see if I'm in the camera's view. I am going to try to position it where I think is best on my nail. Let's see. And what I do is I usually try to stick it and see how far back. So that's a perfect fit right there. And you want to make sure you push back your cuticles. You really don't want it to touch. So I smooth it down right here a little bit with my tweezers. And I make sure everything is lined up on the sides. Then what I do is take my cuticle pusher that comes in our application kit. And I start pushing, and I push back my cuticles at the same time. And then move it around and push down, and then start pushing up to get all those little air bubbles out. And this particular wrap that I'm using is Atlantis. I love it. I love the ombre from the top of the green into the darker blue. I love teals and greens and blues. They're just some of my favorite colors. They kind of go with everything. So as I'm doing that, just pushing up. Then I'm going to do this pull method. And what I'm going to do is pull it to help position and help get it into place. Then I like to go over with my finger and push that down. And if it overlaps a little bit, you can always cut it down. It's almost to the point where it's overlapping, but not quite. It's still on my nail. So I just form that seal and keep pressing. Then I reheat the nail and with the Jamberry on. And this way I can repeat the process of pushing that Jamberry down. So then I go back again, and as you can tell, I'm like pushing all the way up and just sealing those edges. And then if you see like right here, it's kind of touching the edge, so it's bubbling. So I'm going to push those down even more and push that cuticle away. And then I'm going to reheat. I like to heat as many times as possible so I can actually get that seal that I want for these to stay on as long as possible. Okay. So then I'm going to go around one more time and do these edges. And sometimes using your own hands is easier. To get that nice and firm. Okay, then you see how much is hanging over. So what then I do for just the application process right now, and I'll get to the fine points later of actually getting the nail back down, is I take my clippers and just clip that across. And then you gotta kind of get it out of here because it'll stick to it. And that's why I always work with a paper towel, so I can just stick that extra stuff to it. So that's the first one. I'll move on to each nail and repeat the same exact process. And as I'm trying to figure out after I cut them, because I made a mess of my sheet of which one goes on the next nail. Those are going to go on the first. Okay. So this is going to be my next one. And again, I'm going to heat this up till it starts to bend, and a little bit thereafter. And then I'm going to apply it to my next nail. And try to see how best it fits. If you see, I'm pushing it down a little bit, and there's a little bit of that space. So I'm going to pick it up and move it down. And let's see how the sides look. It's almost to the sides. It's not perfect. It's not an exact science. But I promise you, if it doesn't reach your sides, the sides of your fingernail, it might be annoying for you, but most people won't notice it because you have these beautiful jams on. So again, I'm going to try to circle around a little bit and do these ends with my tweezers. Then I'm going to push down with my finger, come back with the cuticle pusher, and just slowly work my way around and up. And then I'm going to pull. Some people do the pulling method right as they put them on before they use the cuticle pusher. I like to kind of have it in place and then pull so I get all those air bubbles out. So then I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-press it down with a cuticle pusher. And get into those sides to seal that. Again, reheating. And like I said, it does get hot, so you kind of move your finger around. You want to feel the heat, though, to get that nice, good seal on there. And then again, go around with your cuticle pusher and push it up. And then take your clippers, and as you see, I have stuff left over, and just clip that off. Put it down there. Okay, on to the next nail. Let's see. That's for that. That one was next to that, so it's going to be this one. So I'm going to take it, and let me see if I can move this over here and see if you see it better, because it does stand and it's easier. So I'm going to heat this until you see that curl. And again, laying it down on my nail. Go a little bit further back. And pushing it down. Okay. Then I'm going to come with my cuticle pusher. And I'm going to start going around the sides. And then pushing up. And use that pulling method to get those air bubbles out. And then again, go on these sides. Reheat. Feel it getting hot. And then again, start pushing it down. If you can tell right here, hold it up to the camera, there's a little bit of my nail that's showing, but nobody's going to really notice that because they're going to be looking at the beautiful Jamberry. So then I'm going to take my clippers and clip off this excess. And take that out. And then sometimes I just like to smooth it down, especially if sometimes I feel my nail is longer than it actually is. So I want to make sure I get those tips on there. Okay, then you find your next one. And heat it up. Looking for that curl. If it gets too hot, just move your hand out of the way or pull it back a little bit. That helps. And this finger is kind of very, very weak. You can see it has like cuts and stuff in it. Ooh, that's getting hot. So I'm very careful. This one might look really bad, but at least, you know, I have my nail covered so they can't see how bad and thin and everything is. Sorry. So again, I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. Just ever so slightly. And sometimes you can't get your tweezers to pull away because it is sticky. So sometimes I use my finger to do that. Oh, and that's almost perfect. Okay, let's see where that is. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, there you go. And then just ever so slightly and gently push it around the edges. And then take your cuticle pusher. Start with the edges. And push an upward motion to seal that. Let me show you up close how I'm doing this. I'm just taking this and I'm sealing that right there. Kind of pushing up through the middle. And then I'm going to do my pull technique. And I just pull that. And then I'm going to heat it up again. And use my cuticle pusher again, starting on the outsides to get that really good seal. And push through. Maybe y'all can see this. And then take your clippers and just clip that stuff off, the extra. Some people use the actual nail scissors, which are the ones that I cut with. They look like this. However, I find that it's hard to cut through it sometimes, especially when you're right-handed and you're working on when you're right-handed and you're working on that hand, on the right hand. For some reason, you know, it's hard to cut it with your left and make it perfect. But the clippers work amazing. So we're going to go on to our thumbnail. And we're going to heat it up. Again, watching for that curl. And you can also, if you don't have the heater, you can use a hair dryer, a blow dryer. I've heard of people using their iron for their clothes. I don't know about that. I don't know how safe that is. But let's put this on and see where we stand on it. Let's move that back just a little bit. And sometimes if you stick it too much, I would reheat it. And then work your edges. And then go around with your cuticle pusher. Now, if the wrap seems to be slightly bigger, sometimes you start seeing bubbling, and that is when it is so necessary to do that pull method to get all of those bubbles out. So you're just going to pull. And then again, go around, sealing that up, pushing up. And then reheating. And then again, using your cuticle pusher. And just pushing that down, making sure you seal everything. Getting those tiny little air bubbles up and out of there. Okay. And then use your clippers to clip that excess off. Okay, now that we have it to this point, you see that there still are edges that have to be filed down and cut. This is where I don't cut my nails beforehand to even them out. This is the period that I cut them. So what I do is I just start trimming my nail to the length that I want it, right behind the jam. As you see, my nails are shaped a little bit differently. So sometimes it takes a couple cuts to get them to where they need to be. But if they're a little bit over, we will fix that problem too when we file. And this is the nail I'm going to have the most problems with. That's not going to look the prettiest. But we'll work with it. And if you can't get the stuff out, just really easy to get it out with your tweezers or the end of your cuticle pusher. This is also a short nail. And then just keep trimming your nails. So as you can see, even the shortest nails are gonna look so pretty. Especially for all you biters out there. Let me tell you, having these on, it's very hard to bite your nails. So it'll help your nails actually grow. It's very hard to bite through the actual Jamberry, and I've tried. And I see that this is slowly not going down into that. So what I might do, you can see it's a little bit hanging over the side. So I'm going to go in here really fast and kind of see if I can trim that. There it goes. Trimmed a little piece off, and look, it's not hanging over anymore. So that little piece might be, but it's a lot better than it was. Okay, now for the filing part. You're going to want to file at a 45-degree angle. You never want to file up because we want these to stay on. So what I do is I file each way at a 45-degree angle, and you can see it kind of takes off the jam, the excess jam that sticks over your nail. And then I file kind of downwards to the side to make sure that nail doesn't catch. Now, I know that people have raised concerns that it doesn't go exactly to the tip. And if you see there's little white marks like of where my tip actually is, that's good, because that means the seal is a little bit lower than your nail. And it tightens that seal. You can put it straight to your nail, and that's fine. And sometimes I do go back and cut it. But I kind of like to have that little breathing room right there so that Jamberry doesn't lift right there. And I'm going to do it with all my nails. We're going in that 45-degree angle. And you can go from all sides. And you don't have to be delicate with this. They're stuck on there. So it's very easy, to go really fast with them. And I know it seems like a long process, but as you continue to do jams, it'll get faster for you. My first time putting them on, it took almost 2 hours. And I was with somebody who sold my upline, and she was helping me do them. And I wanted them to be just perfect. But I found out that even the littlest imperfections most people don't see. So again, the 45-degree angle, and as you can see, this is coming off. So just smooth that out. And I'm using the rough side of this nail file. I will go back and file them again to make it on the softer side. So continue to do this to each nail. And I will note that you saw how my nails were. They actually become stronger when I have these Jamberries on. It kind of adds a protective layer to your nail to make it stronger and prettier because of our designs. So I'm going to continue with this. And I will tell you one key to keeping your Jamberries looking nice while you're wearing them for 2 weeks is cuticle oil. That is a big essential to moisturize your cuticles. Makes your nails look prettier. It also helps with the dead skin that comes around the edge of on your cuticle. So then, now that I've kind of filed that down with the rough side, I'm going to go back and just go over it a little bit with the softer side to kind of get that even nail so it does not catch on anything. And if you notice, I am going side to side, but it's still at like a 45-degree angle. And I'm never filing upwards. And then go across this one. Okay, then I'm going to show you my favorite part. It does get very, very hot. What I do is I take a sandwich bag, one of the ones that doesn't have the zippers, and take my scissors and I'm going to cut this open. You can tear it too. Usually I tear it, but to be smart, sometimes see it's easier to tear. I was trying to do it nicely, but we'll just do it like this. Tear that open. And what you're going to do is to get a really, really good seal after you've done your application. This does get very hot, like I said. So if you're working with little girls and you're putting Jamberries on them to actually heat them and to seal them really well, you can do a rice pack. It's fabric with rice in it. Throw it in the microwave no longer than 30 seconds. It gets hot, and then you can press them down on top of the nails and seal them. That way the little girls don't have to worry about the heat. If you don't mind the heat, work with just the heater. If you do, then also use the rice bag. So then you just wrap it around, and it's going to get really hot. Move it around, but you want to seal that in. This is just an added protectant or step to keep those Jamberries sealed. Ooh. And one more. Okay, and then we're done. And then we have a set of Jamberries on. As you can see, ooh, let me do it this way, that they're on. You can see a little bit of the white up here, but some of that, unfortunately, on me is skin. So I tend to go back and just clip some of it off to clean it up. So that's all I'm doing is kind of clipping that dead skin away that's underneath. My nails are very dry. So that's what I have to use cuticle oil all the time. So I'm just kind of cleaning it up just a bit. I'm not really cutting the nail, just like on the outside. So we've put on one half of our hand. So simple, easy. It might take a little bit. Let me turn the camera up. It might take a little bit of time, your first time, but know that everybody's first time takes a little bit of time. Also, to take your Jamberries off is very, very simple. Take some olive oil, put it in a little bowl, soak your nails, and then push up on the seal a little bit and start working that olive oil underneath it. And it will take it completely off without damaging your skin. And then rub that olive oil into your cuticles, because it's a great cuticle oil to use. So I hope this video has helped you. Give me some feedback, let me know. And I can't wait to continue the party with you. And I can't wait to have some fun with some games tonight or when your games are scheduled. It's going to be very, very awesome, and I can't wait to give away some prizes. So enjoy your day, and I will see you soon. Thank you, ladies.